I don't know about you, but when I hear the word mission, I teeter somewhere between imagining my childhood minister at my church and Tom Cruise. But as I looked up the definition to this word, the meaning I was looking for was this: a strongly felt aim, ambition, or calling. As we talk about manifesting our best life in this podcast, we have to talk about mission. Some would call this their purpose, but I like mission because it's what you signed up for before you started this lifetime. I believe we're all here on our own individual missions, and also group missions for humanity and for the planet. I also like the word calling because despite the fact you don't remember what you signed up for, it will call to you. It is somewhere there in your subconscious and in your heart, and you will know it as you move towards it. Or for that matter, anything in your life that you were meant to have, be, do, or experience, it will call to you. It will light up your heart because it's part of your calling, part of your best life that you were meant to experience in this lifetime. Let's talk a little bit more about this because truly you have to begin to align with your calling in order to align the other magical things you want to bring into your life. It will lead you to a life of true heart-centered joy. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Alchemy of Manifestation podcast. I'm Jen Tammy at the Wheelhouse Project, and we are going to talk about how that sweet heart of yours is going to help you create the life of your dreams. So I hate to tell you this, but when you signed up for this life, you had a list of goals and objectives. A mission, if you will, that you wanted to accomplish that was agreed to by you and your divine team. There was a list of things you wanted to do and experience too. Amazing things around joy, love, abundance, bliss. But you also had a very serious to-do list that involved karmic clearings from past lives and ancestors, a bigger purpose in your life, and so many lives you would change, help, serve, and grow along the way, including your own. In the bigger picture, though, some of it looks like struggle, suffering, heartbreak, pain, and fear. We can get lost and stuck there, too. But it's up to us to reach for the good things, to remember who we are and why we came here, to rise out of the suffering, the old beliefs, and to heal the old wounds, to find our way back to loving ourselves enough and finding our faith to ask the divine to guide us out of it and back to our mission and back to all the amazing things that were meant to be part of our lives. Many people get stuck there, though, in the pain, in the victim mentality, sometimes stuffing down the discomfort of it all with alcohol, drugs, overworking, overeating, starving, shopping, obsessing about things, being controlling and manipulative of others, staying constantly busy, checking out, maybe excessively sleeping, watching TV, social media, or mind-numbing distractions, or even anger. There's so many ways that we avoid dealing with the old wounds and all that pain comes out, or how we react to it or stuff it down. And truly, any addictive type behavior tends to reflect the fact that we don't feel loved or lovable, that we feel unworthy of better, and we're just trying to fill ourselves up and push through our misery in our current situation. But love won't be found this way. It comes from our own hearts. Any behavior that is masking it for us or avoiding it is just an ugly cycle of trying to make ourselves feel better by managing the bad feelings, rather than healing the wounds that are causing the pain and learning to love ourselves. The goal of life, though, is to unearth yourself from it all, to feel it and release it in a healthy way. I love the phrase, you have to feel it to heal it, because it's so true. It takes a bit of a healing journey to let go of the past and move forward in a healthy way. And it is part of your path in this lifetime. That is true for most of us, really. So the rising, when we see it, we can heal it, and we rise up from the victim mentality. That frees us to really move towards our calling in a bigger way, because we open our hearts again, and that allows us to attract in everything we need to serve. The love of ourselves and the love of the divine. We open ourselves to our divine guidance too. We allow ourselves to be led, to surrender to our beautiful journey and where God is leading us. Because God wants you to fulfill your purpose, your mission, and your objectives. As long as you follow, God will lead you there. God won't give up on you, though. So don't lose hope if you keep retreating into fear and unworthiness, back to victim mentality. The goal is to notice when you do that, to love yourself through it with compassion and to release it, to decide to move forward in a new way with new beliefs and an open heart. It's about faith that God's got you. It's about noticing the lessons and using them in your favor. It's about seeing that it was all meant to make you stronger and that everyone is on their own path, learning and growing in their own way. And yes, sometimes through hurting you. We need to trust that things all happen as they're meant to, though, that it is part of our surrender, to allow others to find their own way, to not judge, to heal old wounds for ourselves, create boundaries, and to find the strength and the joy in our own self-love and faith in the divine. For me, I've always been shown how important it is to follow my guidance and my intuition, sometimes in rather tough ways. Like the time that I felt I needed to turn down a certain block to go home when I was out walking my dog, but my rational mind said I wanted to take the shortest route home and keep going. Well, a block later, 2 loose dogs attacked my dog. Mind you, she was fine, thank goodness, but it was a real wake-up call for me. Follow your intuition. I was being led a different way to avoid that situation, but I ignored it. We cause our own problems sometimes, though, don't we? Seriously, we're always being guided. Should you choose to ignore it, you will suffer the consequences and learn the lesson to do so, because your divine team is trying to protect you and to lead you in the best possible direction at all times. That could be for big or small reasons, but trust is essential. I want to circle back here. I know the theme here is about our mission, but I just feel that so many people are wandering around trying to find their purpose, when really they just need to learn to follow their own intuition and divine guidance. And really, intuition is divine guidance, so please understand that. As are our gut feelings and the love in your heart for someone or something, the divine is guiding you as they communicate through you, leading you to your best life. We are all part of God, and thus we need to trust that God can actually use our own mind, heart, and gut feelings to guide us. We need to get in tune to that, to noticing it, to understanding when it's divine, and when it's our ego mind trying to run the show, or old ways of being, fear, old beliefs. God's guidance will feel right. It will resonate with you, even if your mind tries to talk you out of it. Notice when you do that. And notice the sometimes harsh lessons you learn when you don't listen to your divine guidance. So how will following this divine guidance lead you to your mission? Well, the fact is, you most likely don't know your mission, but your divine team does. So you have to rely on them to guide you through life. You have to trust that they have your back, and you have to follow in faith, because your ego mind has been driving otherwise, and that will only take you to a place of fear. Letting fear lead you through life will not lead you to your mission, nor will it lead you to the abundant, happy, love-filled life that you deserve. I also want to address the fact that what you believe to be your mission may evolve and change, mostly because it reflects you slowly taking your hands off the wheel over time and allowing the divine to drive. I know when I started my first business, it was very driven by my current interests. I wanted to do all the things that I was experiencing. Others were inspiring me. For example, I was so impressed with an animal communicator that I used that I was determined to be an animal communicator. Mind you, I really did end up with an animal communication business. It wasn't easy for me, and I stressed about it a lot. It may have been part of my path, but it was not my mission or my calling for sure. I was forcing it, just trying too hard, and I had to let it go. But we also have to recognize those times when we're trying to drive and God is pushing us elsewhere. We need to surrender that control because we won't succeed unless we are on path. All of the abundance and love we desire will flow to us when we follow the path of our divinely destined journey. Do you feel off path right now, or even a bit lost? Maybe not happy in some areas of your life? Perhaps you've been searching for that greater purpose in your life, that calling, if you will. Well, I know for me it's been more of a journey. It's constantly evolving, but it's all about my life, what I've learned, what I'm passionate about, and who I am, and my experiences. Simon Sinek, the author and speaker, talks about your why in his famous TED Talk, book, and courses, which can really help you to get clear on it too. But I do believe it's a combination of you slowly gaining clarity on it and allowing yourself to be divinely guided along the way. I will tell you this, as it becomes clearer to you where you're headed, what your mission is, you'll have crazy aha moments around the magic of it all. How your mission aligns with everything in your life. That everything you experienced throughout your life was preparing you for your mission. The significant moments that stand out to you in your life were all creating the experiences you needed to have to serve others later. For me, there are a number of things that have aligned for me now with my business and I have gained clarity on. I've been on a spiritual journey around connection with God since I was little. I remember sitting on the pew in our non-denominational church at a very young age, listening intently to the minister talk about God's love and how amazing God's love was. I wanted so badly to know that love and to be loved by God. It was the beginning of a quest for me, really, that wasn't a constant for me, but cropped up around every challenging time throughout my life. I so craved that love, not realizing, at least early on, that it was always there for me. I did a lot of exploring of all things spiritual throughout my adult years, growing and building my own beliefs and learning about how I am always connected to the divine, that I have a divine team and all of the divine beings to call on at any time who always watch over me and guide me. Though it took time really to really quiet myself and slow myself down enough to notice it all, to see the constant communications, both big and small. You have to pay attention. It could be as simple as a scrap of paper you see on the sidewalk, or as big as a person being put on your path in a significant way. You're always being guided. You need to see it, to feel it, to be grateful for it all. That allows them to bring you more and shows your openness and receptivity to it all. Divine communication is a constant conversation, and God is pretty funny too. One day I was shown a license plate with 8088 on it. I know numbers in sequence have significance, so I said out loud, "Wow, 3 8s, God, but they aren't in sequence." And I'm not kidding you. The next car I saw, the license plate had 888 on it. I laughed out loud and thanked God for the sign. You have to be open to it all. You can't limit the ways your divine team communicates with you either. It could be the first thing someone says on a TV show when you suddenly feel inclined to turn the TV on. Or a specific bird that suddenly flies over your head, like the huge white owl that flew over me the other night. Look up the meaning. Or a person that out of the blue says something significant to you, like when I was stressed about quitting my job and a coworker said to me, "Just let the universe guide you, Jen." There's so many ways that we get communication. I literally feel like I'm having a divine conversation all day, every day. That is, if I'm paying attention. So stay present and notice. So back to my story, though, of how things in my life have aligned. So there's also the manifesting aspect of my business. So first of all, I had discovered that I was an 8 life path. And 8 life paths tend to be big manifestors, though it's not necessary to manifest. And we do tend to end up with abundance and wealth in our lives. But as I've learned, we also tend to come into this life with lots of challenges around money. It's not an easy journey to get to that abundant life. We usually have families with lack and poverty mentality who struggle financially. We tend to feel that we are going to break away from that to make a better life for ourselves. But deep down, unless we heal it, we still believe in that lack and struggle around money. And it doesn't stick to us. But when you can see that and work to heal it, change your beliefs, and clear the pattern, you open yourself to abundance. You can release that old programming and allow yourself to be open to receive. This journey has taken me years to clearly see. I could never figure out why, even when I kept a tight budget and worked to save money and pay my debts, that it was still elusive. Money was always there for me, but it certainly wasn't abundant. It was my beliefs and fears around it all. And as I observed my parents, I also noticed how they were not open to receive, that they turned away money, support, and offers of help frequently. I realized that I was the same and that I needed to change that. It's also about being open to receive in all ways, though. Compliments, offers of help, accepting gifts without feeling that you have to pay them back. It's about feeling worthy, really. It's about our underlying feeling of worthiness that is at issue here. We need to notice and heal these things in ourselves because it is severely limiting what we can bring into our lives. The other aspect of my business that was part of my journey through my life is self-love. Learning to love ourselves and care for ourselves in a loving, kind, compassionate way. I was always someone who felt not good enough, not worthy, not wanting to really express myself authentically for fear of not being lovable or good enough. I was always trying to recreate myself into someone who was lovable or acceptable to the people I wanted to love me. It was inauthentic and completely dishonoring of myself. And really, it was all about the toxic people around me and their issues, that I was trying to accommodate that and make myself what they wanted or expected me to be, which was never honoring who I was, what I wanted, or what made me happy. But I thought that my unworthiness meant that I had to live a life of suffering. Oh, the crazy things we're brainwashed to believe in our world. When I started to work on my self-love and really started to care for myself in a more compassionate way, I started to unearth these old wounds, because really, we need to love and care for ourselves in the ways that we feel that others couldn't, because of their own issues and wounds. And I started to recognize that I was attracting the same type of people into my life who mirrored the same issues that my parents had, both friends and relationships. I was being guided to it all, to heal the pattern and my wounds around it, to understand what underlying beliefs I had about myself and about life that needed to change. And when you can see it clearly and understand that it was never about you, then you can heal. You can love yourself in the ways they couldn't, and you can accept it all as part of your journey and your growth. This is also when I started to connect much more deeply to the divine, as God is your true parent. We are all just souls and bodies playing roles, learning and growing, and living out paths that we've chosen. Your parents may have been your children in your last life. You just don't know. Have compassion for their journey and move forward on your own, but you just have to see the bigger picture to not take it all so personally. So these are the things in my life that align to bring me to this business, to inspire you to find your own self-love in your own heart, to love and align with the divine and your guidance, and to heal in whatever ways are needed. And of course, to manifest your best life and your mission that you came here to live. Because you aren't here just to hang out. God needs you. It's time to find your own path, to look at your own journey through life, and to find the breadcrumbs. What makes you who you are? What is your story? What is your why? How have you risen up from the ashes? What did you rise from? Who inspired you along the way? Start to look at it all. Start to ask God for clarity on your path. You will find your mission and your amazing life that you desire and deserve. Trust that God has your back, always, and move forward in faith when guided. And as you do, the rest will fall into place. Because when we are living from the heart, we will be attracting in more love, more joy, and more abundance. You are amazing. Keep going. Your mission will become clear. Set your intention to discover it and ask your guides to show you the way. Thank you for joining me today on the podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast and check out all of our other resources, videos, blogs, and more at thewheelhouseproject.com. Remember to sign up for our email list while you're there. And also check us out at The Wheelhouse Project on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest.